Hello, everyone. Welcome again to another episode of the Backyard Sportscenter podcast. Today, before I go in with the meat and potatoes of this podcast, got a big announcement to make. As of today, and when we are recording this, now officially have a co-host, and that person is Wizard.
Hello, everyone.
So I'm really, really excited. I know we've been talking about in the messages for a bit, and I'm finally excited to have you officially as a co-host on the podcast.
Yeah, I'm happy to help. I always, enjoy being able to give feedback, and so excited to have more opportunities to do that. Hopefully, people don't get tired of hearing me.
I don't think I've heard a negative sentence about you from anyone.
Well, if you do, Nate, don't tell me, please. Thank you.
There's always like the funny banter that we all go, within the community, but there's nothing that was like serious.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
But I'm really excited to have you on the team, and really excited to see how the podcast will grow in the next several months.
Yep, I'm real excited to be here. I think you've done a great job keeping the pod alive. I think it's great for people in the league to have the information, or people outside the league to have the information. And so I know you've got some good episodes already planned, and just looking forward to being a part of it.
Well, now that's out of the way, we can get into the main part of what we're going to talk about, and that is going to be the recap of Week 6 in the S10 season, which, if you've been following along, you know that we have two leagues this season, one for the 2001 version of the game and one for the 2003 version of the game. Which one would you like to talk about first?
Oh, let's do Age Before Beauty, and maybe start with 2001.
Sounds great. So the first game that was on here for Week 6 was the Cardinals going to Dirt Yards and playing the humongous Blue Jays, and Cello just put up a really amazing performance, a plus 16. I believe that is his best output of his young career so far.
Yeah, Cello's been steadily improving over the season, and in this AL battle, takes advantage of the Dirt Yards field and puts up a really solid score to take care of Oops.
Yeah, Oops has had some hard games. With the height being a little bit slower, I'm wondering if that might be where some of the issues are as far as scoring some runs, especially at Dirt Yards. But he's had some really good games too, so still in the hunt, only a game out of second place in the AL West. Yeah,
you got a lot of kind of middling teams there with a couple 2-4 records, a couple 3-3 records. You got Freak Show at the top, but a lot of competition there maybe in the second half.
Yeah, some people are, have a tendency to do really well in the second half. Second half Chris comes first to mind when it comes to second half. But, other people sometimes, once you get some games under your belt and you start to understand the ins and outs of your team, some people just take off.
Yep, it'll be really interesting to see how that plays out.
And then the next game was the Expos and the Rockies. Martian Man looks like he got a -5. I'm not sure if that included the penalty or not for being late. But Crazy and the Rockies did win that one. I know on Crazy's game on the side of things, there wasn't his best game, and the AI kind of was getting to him. But he was able to walk that off and win 10-7, I believe, was on his side. Expos kind of still struggling with this lineup. I know it's always hard when you're taking over a team that you didn't draft.
True, and I think, Crazy had the long game, frustrated game. He kind of locked in, stopped talking with the people in chat as much. Got that, that +3. he did impose the penalty. I can't remember. I thought it was a 5-0 on Martian Man's end. I don't know. I couldn't remember who scored the 5, whether it was him or the AI. But my advice to Martian Man would just be to get in here and really commit to the league. I know that he's had some travels and some sickness and some things, but I just think not being around and not spending time with that team has kind of been a detriment to his game. So
it does have some good players on it, 'cause I think it has the Webbers, it has Clanky, it's got Ted Williams, I believe. So you got a good core there, especially have those grounder/line drive hits. If you can kind of stack those together, you could definitely score some runs. And with those players, you have a really good user defense, which can really help when you're trying to limit the damage, which is half the battle.
Yep. Not without pieces. You got a good arm. You got a good, both the girls are great defenders, and you've got a good arm on the mound. So not winless. I don't know if that was him that got that one win, but regardless, I think for anyone that is out of these races, just trying to put together a respectable second half, whether, they're in the playoff hunt or not, just for pride's sake. That's what I encourage anyone to do.
You never know when you can pull up a huge upset.
Exactly. And that's something that you hang your hat on if you're not going to make the playoffs. Those good wins kind of hopefully roll you into a good off season or next season.
Yeah, I know. I've been on both sides of it, where I've been the person doing the upsetting, and I've also been the person being upset. So.
Yep, and it is upsetting when you are upset.
Yep.
So, eight's decent position in that division to make a run, or at least stay competitive and never count out the first-year commish.
Nope, never question the heart of a champion, even if Slim doesn't like it.
That's it.
The next game we got is the Evil Rays and the Twins. Twins only putting up a +2, but that AI defense strikes again. Hellcat holding everyone down.
I predicted Anju in this game. I love the Evil Rays moniker that he went with, and he's been scoring relatively well this season, in the 5 to 10 range. I think he maybe has 1 or 2 double-digit outputs, but Mike's been pretty consistent around there, maybe a few games lower than that. He's obviously pitching really well on the user side as well, going for that strikeout crown. But I predicted Anju, and a close one, though.
Yeah, and you mentioned Hellerman with going for the strikeout record. According to the spreadsheet right now, 68 strikeouts through 6 games. That is just mind-boggling amazing.
It is. I was keeping pace with Sonia Hagen, and we'll get to the Mets, but he is just consistently putting up double digits. I think he's had 13 in 2 of the last 3 or 3 of the last 4. It's impressive to watch. Now, he is burning through lots of juice to do it sometimes, but it's working. He's poised to maybe sitting around 80 strikeouts through 7, which is just a crazy pace, a blistering pace.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see if that's something he can keep up with in the second half, but he's definitely putting a good cushion, because, if he keeps up and it has another game where he has 10 plus, he only really needs to average 7.5 to 8 a game, which is reasonable.
Very.
That's very, very doable, especially if you're going for that. So that's really impressive to see that, especially from a rookie.
I agree.
He's putting that record to shame.
Yeah. So you got, both of them sitting at 2 and 4, not necessarily out of the playoff race statistically, but just, chip away at the second half and have fun, boys. That would be my advice.
The next game is the Question Monkey and the Pirates went to TCA to face the Astros. Astros winning at TCA yet again, only putting up +19 this time. So that's pretty good to hold the Astros down that much at TCA, because I think they've had they scored 34 2 weeks ago at TCA.
Yeah, Freak Show has been putting up some big time numbers. You've got, a 25 week 1, the 34 week 4, the 19 week 6. It's up and down, but at home he's putting up good, consistent numbers. He's in command of that division. And I know he's not a backyard baseball rookie, but an rBBL rookie. And you love to see it. You love to see good, strong additions to the league. That's why we play the game, have good, competitive fun.
Yeah, and I guess Question Monkey will have to get him back next online season.
Yeah, QM had a rough couple weeks. Obviously, this isn't a Week 7 pod, but the results in, and those Pirates are looking forward to the week off, I bet.
Yeah, it's not like the Pirates and Question Monkey are necessarily like playing bad. I would say they've been playing like really, really solid. They're just running into some really solid gauntlet of teams.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, a 5 in week 2, but really he's been very consistent, 5, 7, 9, 8, and then he's got 9. A couple, he put up 10, and then he, obviously not week 7, but a 16. So he's been very consistent, putting up decent scores, and, just unlucky.
Yeah, because typically those scores will at least get you around to 500.
Yeah, yep.
So maybe this... I haven't looked at the schedule really that much, but maybe the schedule will get a little bit easier in the second half, and he'll have a really solid second half.
Yeah, he's Cello twice, Anju, Mike again, 8. Oops. He's got opportunity.
He definitely got some chance to put some wins on the board.
Yep. And the Griffey, the White Cubs of Matitude. That's his last one.
Ooh, that's going to be a tough one. Speaking of the Royals, they only put up 30 this time against the Marlins at Steele, Loba. I thought Loba would do a little bit better just based on how good he is online and how some of his scores were against like easy mode, where he's put up like 400 runs in a game. Been putting up some decent offensive scores, but kind of like similar to Question Monkey, just running into some tough luck.
I'm seeing one week 1, but a 7, a 6, a 5 and change, a 16. Freak Show beat him 34-16 in week 4. What I think we're seeing is victory at home is very dangerous. I'm just looking at these 3 scores right here, 27, 30, and 50. Obviously, not talking about week 7, but they are another 20. They're putting up really big scores at Steele. You better hope that you got home field advantage if you see this in the playoffs.
Good shot at winning the division right now. They're currently in first place in their division. Depending, the Giants do have a chance to tie the Royals if they win their week 7 matchup, though. That'll be a really interesting race between Titanium and the Royals, and we'll get into the Giants in a second, which is actually this next matchup. Alex and the Red Sox pulling off the massive upset against Titanium's Giants. I know it's not the result that he would like to see, but he put up a plus 17 at Parks Department, and that's a really solid score. Like, you're going to win a lot of games if you put up 17.
Yes, almost all, I'd argue. 75 for 80% probably.
But that's just, I'm happy for Alex that he, finally got on the win column with this team.
Me too. Yeah, you just don't want to see anybody go winless. We've seen it before, and obviously Alex went over from the online league where, a different world, but happy to see him get off the schneid and puts up a really good score on the road. Even against the multiplier, takes care of a really big threat in the AL.
Yeah, I think he's got some really good players on his team. You got Chico, you got Barry Larkin, Lulu is good, Rafael Hendrick, who hit 3 home runs and 5 RBIs and scored 5 runs.
Batter of the week there, Hendricks. They put up a great score, and Titanium, I think they keep their head high. They're continuing to put up really strong scores, and like you said, 17 wins a lot of ball games. So that I don't think that's anything to be upset by. It's a tough loss, especially putting up a 17, but nothing to be worried about if you're the Giants.
And Alex has been putting up some solid scores. I think he's starting to turn a corner with both of his teams and starting to get the handle of the rBBL side of the things.
I love to see it, but we've got some of those online editions and hope that they decide to stick around.
Next game was your game. Mets just getting edged out by Toast and the Padres. Toast took over that team for the 0-1 side. And I believe you did a final stream on that, if I'm remembering correctly.
We did. It was a really close game. We had an opportunity. Toast hit 3 home runs, I think, in the last inning. We had the opportunity to, I think we left some runners on base with Sosa up. He singled, or he didn't hit a home run. Yeah, I mean, a good game. I always love the Toast simul streams, not upset by it. We've gotten by a couple of these games by the skin of our teeth, and so the luck maybe isn't due to run out, but at least swing back a little bit to equalize.
Yeah, and we're currently, right now, you are winning the division right now, the NL West, 5-2 record.
Yeah, we've had a good half. We're not putting up monster scores, but we had the one big game against Slim. The defense seems to be playing well enough on the AI side to keep us in most of these games. If we're putting up double digits, we're going to be in a position to win, and we are showing that we can put up double digits. So
I think you have one of the best balanced teams from AI defense to user offense.
I don't feel like there's a hole. Terry Vega's probably the only person I don't love hitting with. Drafted him as a 9th and probably should have gone in a different direction because I'm not getting the power bat out of him that I'd like without power-ups. But, we got a few good division wins. Our only loss is coming to Toast, and then an out-of-division loss to Freak Show, who's an AL team. Within the division, we got wins against our other 4 teams for tiebreak purposes.
Yeah, sadly that's the case.
Yeah, we had a good game too, a close one.
Yeah, it came down to the top of the 6th, and Sosa got me.
That's it. Yeah, he started to turn it on a little bit. So he's had a few multi-home run games. So, anyways, we all can talk about our teams. We were happy with the way the first half ended up for us.
The next game is the Reds and Personizzo, another player from the online league, online transfers, you like to call it, putting up a +8, and the Fishes losing to the AI just kind of was really strange. Maybe Chris had too many beers or something that day. I don't really know what was going on, but he just had a rough day. Maybe he had some stuff going on beforehand and it just got in his head or something. Who knows? People will write a 30 for 30 about this 5 seasons from now.
It was definitely a weird day for him, both those games. But somebody mentioned in Predictor that maybe people are swinging back on Chris and the Fishes because obviously Chris is proven and was getting predicted a lot early on and putting up some strong scores in the 03 league. But Personizzo comes out of this. He's been kind of taking the league by storm on the NL side for an online person and gets a win with his out of his 6 results thus far, only 2 of them have had single-digit offensive outputs on his user side, and he gets a win with his second single-digit output of the year. So he's putting up strong scores and didn't put up his best score in week 6, but luckily didn't need it and came out with a win and is right in the thick of his division.
Yeah, because of that's a huge win and possible tiebreaker scenarios for that one. And now they're both at 4-2, tied with the Cubs for second place.
It's a scary division right there, and it makes me think that maybe whoever comes out of the NL West may be the only NL team to come out of the NL West.
Yeah, it's definitely the National League has a lot of really solid teams and coaches. I could honestly make a case for almost anyone making it out at this point. And there's a lot of experience, and people that aren't experienced have really good track records as far as their skill.
There's a lot of people in both divisions that we could see come out on top because, there's a ton of experience on this NL side, and like you said, the people who maybe don't have as much are also putting up solid performances. And then you've got Toast, who inherited those Padres late and maybe figures them out and makes a late run.
Yeah, anything's possible, and it's almost like every single week put up a solid score and you still might lose because the other person puts up a better score.
It's the scariest thing ever. You just put up your, control what you can control and score your runs and hope for the best.
Yeah, and speaking of scoring runs, this next matchup did not really have that much of scoring runs. This game was rough. I was not able to pretty much do anything. Only won 3-2 and almost kind of lost it as far as to the AI as well. I got a power up on me and used it and scored that second run. And if that wouldn't have happened, then this would have been one of the first ties in rBBL history.
Okay, you're going to have to explain this to me. Would it have been an actual tie?
Yes, it would have been an actual tie because the Bombers went to the bottom of the sixth to win, therefore no multiplier.
Oh, wow.
And because there's no multiplier, it would have been 2-2.
That would have been epic and really interesting to see. Well, we would have had a tiebreak. I was going to say they're not going to put up an NFL tie column. That would have gone to hits for.
I don't even know what the next one is, honestly, because it never actually happened.
Yeah, I know that was hard for you, and we'll get to 03, but Jaker gets the win, and again, you know, you love to see nobody go winless.
Just wish it was against somebody else.
Second half, right? You're right in the thick of it still.
Yeah, I just have a hard time scoring runs. I think the most I've scored is I had 3 games over that are 10 or higher, not any higher than 14 though. So having a hard time with this team scoring runs. So I have to get into the batting cages and see if I can figure something out.
Hey, you got a week to do it.
I still got to play week 7, so.
I played all mine to get them out of the way. So yes, week 7, and then you got a week to do it.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see how that goes. So that's enough about that game. Congrats to Jaker on your first rBBL win. Starting to play a little bit better. And what was really funny was that when he was playing, he was giving like all this crap about Nomar and how terrible Nomar has been for his team and how terrible he is and trash he is. And then Nomar hit the winning walk-off double.
He hurt him.
That was just really funny to watch from a viewer standpoint, even though it was painful.
You'll bounce back.
Hopefully. We'll see. Definitely I can score more than a +1. I know I can do that.
Exactly. That's it. You're only as good as your latest.
The next game was the Cubs only putting up a +4 against the Blue Angels, who only put up a +1. But sometimes you get lucky and your opponent has a game that struggles as well.
I mean, Matt has been putting up better numbers as the season's gone on. 14 week 2, 13 week 3, 8 week 4, which is still respectable. He kind of came back down, but still, you know, gets a dub off Bobby, who's a very respectable player. And you need some of those wins, those low run output wins to be competitive. And I mean, that division is dicey as it looks as far as competition goes. I wouldn't want to be a part of that.
And looking at the schedule and everything, it is possible to have a 4-way tie in the NL East for first place going into the All-Star break.
That would be so great.
Because if the Fishes beat the Monsters and the Reds beat the Bombers and the Cubs beat me, then there'll be a 4-way tie at 5-2.
Let's see it. Let's see it happen.
Hopefully I can put a spoiler to that. But that is a good consolation prize if I do lose, contributing to the madness. I do like ties.
Bobby, you know, I know he's been having success, and so maybe he attempts to roll that into the second half. The first half didn't finish as well as he would have liked in 01, but he still has put up some good scores this season, and it's a marathon, not a sprint.
That is very true, especially when, for a lot of us, we're having double games.
Mm-hmm.
The last game on the 01 side for week 6 was our match of the week, which featured 2 OGs of the rBBL from season 1. Slim pulling out on top 14-2 was a blowout that we weren't expecting. We were expecting to see a really close matchup, and for one of the unusual weeks where Match of the Week does not come down to the wire.
We've been so lucky since Match of the Week's induction in season 7 to have seen a lot of really close games. And I don't know, obviously I'm not an odds person, but it's really been lucky how many actual good games we've picked. I know that the powers that be tried to pick good games, but they're also equitable in letting lots of people be involved, not just picking the same teams or whatever. And so we have seen a lot of really good games on Match of the Week. And this wasn't one of them, but it shows that Uriah's team is human. Schlim on sand has put up some really good scores for sand. They're solid scores, and the Mariners are also in the thick of things. So it was a good result. I feel vindicated because I predicted Schlim.
Yeah, the Monsters were the last undefeated team in either league. So now everyone will have at least one loss, and in the 01 league, everyone has at least one win.
Yeah, which is all you can ask for. Crooked numbers only.
Yeah, I'm going to go to more of kind of like the standings once all the Week 7 games kind of wrap up, but there's a lot of room for chaos in the second half.
I'm all for it. Let it happen.
Did you follow the World Baseball Classic at all?
I did, not probably as closely as I should have, but anytime there were games on, I threw them on and paid some version of attention. And then semis, I watched both, not in full, but some portion of, and then I watched the finals, what I could, which was, I think, ended up being like the last 4 innings.
In Pool A, and I know you like chaos, in Pool A there was 5 teams in each pool, and there was a single round robin, so everyone played everyone. And at the end of the round robin for Pool A, all 5 teams were 2-2.
Yeah, I'm all in on that. Make the committee put some thought into it. Let's see commissioners sweat and make poor decisions. I mean, we see commissioners make poor decisions all the time. Not ours. I'm sorry. That wasn't shade, I promise. Yeah, let's see it. What's the tie break? Let's do it. All in.
Yeah, and the tie break was really crazy, too. So it was like runs allowed divided by like how many defensive outs you had or something, some crazy calculation, which was kind of cool from a math nerd perspective. And, it was unique, so that was kind of neat to see. But getting into that more with Freak Show at some point and kind of recap that. But since you mentioned the chaos, I had to mention that.
Yeah, let every team in the NL finish 7-7.
There we go. Let's do it.
All 11 of us, 7-7.
I think we can still make it happen.
Yeah, I'm all in on that. And then Crazy's resigning.
I know Crazy loves chaos and ties just as much as anyone, so I think...
Well, and he runs the odds, and he released all that stuff for the bracket, which congrats on the worst bracket, by the way.
Those 100 clanky coins are worth it.
Yeah. Based on the scores, I don't think a lot of people submitted a bad bracket. There were only like 4 of us even competing, and you were always like at least 30 points worse than me.
Well, I did the anti-chalk. So like, okay, this has to win. So I kind of cheated, but in some way.
Hey, it worked. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
But I got the 100 clanky coins, so it was worth it.
Well worth it.
Yeah, and I believe who actually won that?
I think Question Monkey.
Oh, yeah, Question Monkey did win that.
Came down to San Diego State, beat Creighton. I think that was it.
Yeah, and the March Madness has definitely lived up to the hype.
It has been madness, truly.
Did you see Crazy's meme that he posted about, like, the stats?
It was so clever. Like, so clever.
I love that. That was big brain.
Yeah, and it's backyard themed, and so that's what makes it so good. So well done.
He should post that to, like...
the Reddit.
Like NCAA Reddits. And see...
Well, how many people get it?
But if they do get it, then they have a chance to join us. That's marketing.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
Always got to have your marketing cap on.
That's it.
But that's going to do it for the 2001 season. Move on to the 2003 season. And first game is the Mets, but not you, the Visory Mets. The first team to score more than 3 runs against Bobby's Texas Astros. Only putting up a +1 that time, but holding Visory to 10 runs is a really remarkable feat in and of itself.
I agree. And this team has been very odd. He has an 11, a 12, and a 7. He won a game -4 to -4. And then he won a game 2-1 against Pepsi. And then he just put up 1 run. It's been a very odd season for them. He's 5-1. And him and I talked a little bit about lineup construction, batting order construction. And he's just trying to kind of figure out how to maximize that. So I know he was scrimming, I think yesterday. I didn't get to tune in. I don't know if you figured anything out with that, but again, respectable player. And obviously, yeah, Vis putting up 10, and Vis hates this team, but still sitting atop the front yard West and sitting at 5-1. I mean, I don't know what else they can say. It's a good place to be.
Yeah, I wish I was 5-1.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, matchup is actually going to be pretty huge for seeding, possibly. if some of the standings kind of stay the same as they currently are. So both teams are currently in first place in their respective divisions, so that potentially could be huge down the line as we get closer to the playoff run. Next game is the Padres and the Diamondbacks. I believe, the Padres in 03 are Matitude, so Matitude beating Pepsi and the Diamondbacks, only putting up a +3 in this one. Pepsi's had some games all over the place this season, so he's had a couple low-run games, and he's also had some really good games as well. 18, 14, 12. So it's Diamondbacks searching for some consistency, it looks like.
Yeah, I'm with you. Kind of bouncing around. He got a win 3-1 against SB in week 1. This 3 Pepsi. He's seen these back and forth scores. He got the win week 1 with a 3, but obviously he takes the loss with a 3 in week 6. He put up a 1 in week 4. So he's been kind of all over the place, like you said, trying to find some semblance of consistency with his offense. I really am not going to stand for much more Jennifer Goodfellow slander. And so if he hears this or doesn't, or if somebody else wants to tell him if they hear this, I really don't appreciate that. Goodfellow's an elite power bat, and he could have traded her to me for literally almost anybody. But yeah, I mean, he mentioned, I guess, rushing through that game or streaming it or whatever, but take your time, stream more. We like hearing you stream. Hopefully we get this simul stream together. Anyways, they still a good position in their division, and they take that loss to Matitude, who's gaining some traction in the 03 league as well.
I think the best way I can put it is that Jennifer Goodfellow is a good fellow.
Yes, she is.
Especially when you hit all those home runs.
Yeah, it's user error. I tried to tell him it was timing. Just be patient. She has an elite bat.
Have you ever had her in a season before?
Yeah, I've had her twice, actually. I had her last season, season 9 with the Cards, and she was on my season 7, my last Super Duper Wombat season, which has been my most successful regular season to date. Technically, my season 5, my inaugural season, was my furthest playoff run. I really love Goodfellow, and her defensive deficiencies are made up for tenfold by her bat, in my opinion.
It's kind of like Rachel and Peggy for me.
Yeah, and they're a little faster too. I know but they have no arm, right?
Good coordination, slightly below average arm.
Goodfellow has a good arm. She's just slow as dirt. And so I had her both seasons at Casa, and so that was just like, if she wasn't hitting nuke, she was not real effective. But I'm a Goodfellow stan.
And then the next game, I know you've brought up Crazy a few times. This is Crazy's Green Giants going against Corn and the Indians. Was a +10 to a +7. Crazy sneaking by in this one. So I love to say this is the Indians' best game, in their rBBL career, considering where they started from, which is a -21 to a +7. That's a 28-run differential difference. That's a big swing. Yeah,
it's huge, and love to see Corn having more success on the user side. It's been steady improvement throughout the season. The last 2 weeks have been positive scores on the user side, and a close result. And it's not quite as close as the -4 to -4 with Bobby in week 3, but I don't want to win a game with a -4, honestly. Just give us both losses at that point. Not actually. I'll take the win, but 7 is a solid score, and obviously Crazy comes out with that dub, but happy to see Corn having more success. And 8 finds himself right in the middle of that Front Yard West, which is shaking out to be a real competitive division, it looks like.
Visery probably wouldn't like this, but I think it'd be really cool to see the Indians upset for their first win.
Yeah, I think it'd be poetic, especially after Viz said that they're burnt out on this game and then put up 54 or whatever it was, or 56 or whatever, 56, 57. But I don't know that it would be great for Viz's mentality on their 03 team if Corn gets that dub. But yeah, I think hopefully Corn stick with it, keep improving, and we're rooting for you to get one.
I mean, if you keep beating the A, I am putting up like seven-ish rounds. But there's some week someone's going to put up a stinker and you're going to win it.
Yes.
Something will happen and they'll win at least one game if that keeps up.
Completely agree.
Next game was Arco putting up a +32 against the Melonheads. That is really, really good. I know it's at dirt yards, so dirt yards sometimes has elevated scores, but you put up anything over 25 and you're doing something right.
Over 25, your odds increase to about, I'd argue, 95%, especially with the way defenses are constructed now without the locks and the puzzle. Plus 25 is almost 95% win. I predicted oops in this game. Arco hasn't had quite the start to the year that I was expecting him to have. I predicted him to win the World Series, but has put up some decent scores, and this 32 is a very strong score against a solid Melonheads team, but a Melonheads team with some holes that we've talked about previously in the predictions pod, and other people, including Oops, has talked about. It's a good win for Arco though, and they find themselves in the middle or in the thick of another very competitive front yard division.
Yeah, both of those divisions are very, very competitive. Now, going to this next game from a very high-scoring game. This one, some low-scoring game, but Silver Bullet gets the win, +2, not the score that he would want, but definitely I know that he really appreciates getting the W nonetheless.
SB, another dub on the year, drafted an extremely strong defensive team with some good offensive pieces, but it's not a team that's just built for offense. And so gets a dub from Hines, our newest member, and love to see it. Even a low scoring affair, sometimes 2's enough to get it done. And this week it was.
I know Silver played his week 7 matchup already. So I think this is the best first half that he's ever had.
It's a very competitive division, but it's not a terrible first half. He put up a 16 in week 4. There have been some bright spots, and obviously both his wins coming on 2-run outputs, but the 16, that's a big week, and that's something to hang your hat on, and you come out with 2 wins and know you can put up 16, and I think that's just kind of what you need to move into the second half with. It's like, we're capable of this, and we've got 2 wins. Make some magic happen, or let's hurt some teams' chances. Let's ruin some seasons.
Yeah, I know he upset you in that marathon game.
I'm not going to blame Miller Lite, and obviously for anyone that listens to this, please drink responsibly, but that was our worst output of the season. I mean, we're consistently putting up double-digit outputs, and that's a really hard loss to swallow, but deserved from him. And even if I had an opportunity in the 9th or whatever and couldn't make it happen, and that wouldn't have felt good given the circumstances. Yeah, 2 wins and a great dude and a super fun personality, so love to see it.
Yeah, moving on to the next game, which was Mello putting up a +4 against your Rangers, putting up a +16 at TCA. Mello was not able to put in his 40 hours of preparation for this one. So maybe that's why the score is a little bit low. So we'll see how Mel does next week when he puts in his regular 40 hours of prep work.
We were happy to see it, and the defense has played well. I mean, the defense has given us every opportunity to win games. 16, even at TCA, was enough. So a good win for us against an admirable opponent, and it keeps us in the mix in our division, which is what we needed. So.
Yeah, now that makes the White Sox 4-2, and interestingly enough, both losses have come when Mello has not been able to put his whole week of preparation.
I guess he knows what he needs to do then.
So it's kind of interesting how maybe he's getting rattled or whatever when he's playing. So I don't know exactly what it is, but we'll see if that changes next week when he goes to play the Padres.
Hopefully, bounces back. 4, they've put up some very strong scores, and 4 being on the low end of that.
Mello's got Courtney Valentino again, and that's a very deadly combination. So what about anything happening on your side? Because you put up a good score of +16.
Yeah, our best score of the season, all 4 of our wins have been around there, 13, 2 15s, and a 16. But nothing real crazy. This is a team with not a lot of slow. Hellerman being our slowest. Everybody's capable of hitting the wall, minus Ricky and Sizemore, who both run well. I'm starting to ground our ball more with Sizemore and Ricky, and we we had some lucky things happen, and I can't remember exactly because I played that game real early in the week, and exactly what happened. But Arlene Perez drove in some good runs. She's leading our team in RBIs, which is bizarre. But we just have a really balanced team. Nobody stands out above the rest. Obviously, Gwen and Cliff are kind of, we go as they go just because they are fast and they're good line drive hitters. But I think we took advantage of somebody on defense. I can't remember who. Like I said, a strong win for us, and happy to come out of week 6 with one.
The next game was Braves and my 03 team against the Twins. And obviously I was not able to watch Toast's side, so I don't know if you can speak to what happened on that one. But on my side, I got like a couple runs early, and then just like I got so lucky with bounces and drops and everything, and just lucky TCA shenanigans. I just felt so lucky to put up a +50. That was like the luckiest +15 ever, it felt like. But I definitely did need it, especially considering what happened in week 7.
It's just, I mean, this week 6 game was another strong score from the 03 Braves, and it's against a strong divisional opponent in Toast, who only had one loss at the time, and coming off a big win at Parks against Chris. And so, even if the ball bounced your way a little bit, it's a big time win. And I'm not talking about week 7 yet, so just relish in the week 6 win.
Week 7 never happened.
Exactly, right.
Yeah, yeah, don't talk about that. Debbie won batter of the week.
There she is. 7 ribbies, a double, and a bomb. 1 run scored. I mean, 7 RBIs is, I mean, when you're putting up 50% of the output, that is huge.
Yeah, Debbie that was the game of the season so far for her, so hopefully she has some more games like that in the second half. I need both of them to show up if I want any chance of a playoff spot.
And they're both capable for sure.
I got the people to get on base. I just need the power hitters to hit the homers now.
That's their job. That's their only job.
When I'm struggling is when the power hitters are not hitting the homers. And when they are hitting the homers, I'm doing good.
Yeah, that's my 01 team. I mean, if they're not doing their job, the runs aren't coming at the same clip, because you're relying on that to some degree.
That's enough about my game. Next would be a game that Marco probably wants to forget. Wombats were doing really well. I believe they're 3-0, and now they have been coming down to 500 at 3-3. That's still a really good record for them historically. I think they've only had 1 or 2 seasons where they've been over 500. So being 500 6 weeks in is a really good start for them, regardless of how the last 3 weeks have gone.
This week being a Personal, barely scraping by with the 2, not putting up quite as many big weeks as they are in 01. But I mean, Marco, he needs to resort back to what he was doing, because I mean, 3 strong scores out of the gate, 11, 9, and 12, and it has been downhill since, with 1 and then the -1 in week 6. So he's voiced his concerns in chat, but he's clearly capable of putting up those good scores. And I don't know where he played. The Giants' home field is dirt yards, so he put up the decent score at dirt yards, but the other 2 good scores have been at cement. And so I think just kind of getting back to that. But 3-3, he's still in the mix. He's not out of anything by any means, so just needs to figure out what was working for him early and go back to it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly that was, but we'll see if he figures it out next week and in the second half. Next game was a backyard league East, division matchup between JY and Constellation Shrews. Constellation Shrews putting up squeaking by a +13 to a +11. So that was a really close matchup.
That's a good game. And in Shrews, I'm looking here, in Shrews 3's wins. In Shrews 3 wins, he's put up good scores. 18 and 13 at home the last 2 weeks, week 5 and 6. A 10 on the road in week 2. So I think it's just sometimes the ball bounces your way, but just finding, again, what's working for you and kind of sticking with it. So, you know, a 4 and a loss there, a 1 and a loss in week 1, and a 2 and a loss in week 3. So those are big discrepancies, a 1, 2, and a 4, and then versus his double-digit wins. So Shrews put those double digits up, and good things will happen, it looks like. 11's respectable from JY as well.
Yeah, I know when we were doing the initial predictions or whatever, it was like just so hard to predict this Backyard East division, and it's definitely proven to be as unpredictable as we predicted. Sounds kind of funny to say, but
yeah, well, yeah, it's shocking that Chris is in last. First of all, that would be, I think, the story, if there was going to be a story.
Yeah, that's just surprising, but there also could be a 4-way tie for this division as well, as if Chris wins and beats Toast, and then if JY and Shrews both win.
Let's see it.
Which could happen. It's definitely realistic.
I'm all in on that.
Yeah, especially in this division, I'll take all the chaos that it can get.
Yeah, we love it when it's around us, please.
Next game was one of my favorite results of the week. The Fighting Tiger, the Mighty Tigers, and the Mighty Ivan Kings finally getting in the win column.
Was huge. Hanshin Tigers finally make it work. Jibbo's been trying everything from voodoo, which we got the great flick on, to docu-series Tiger King. I feel vindicated. I've been predicting Jibbo since probably, I don't know what week 2 or 3, maybe week 3, but one of the best personalities we have in the league. Great production value. I mentioned he took over first place from Mike. Mike's kind of been slacking on the production value, focused more on the strikeout race in 01. But yeah, Jibbo, another strong result. When I say another strong result, he's put up some decent numbers this year, a couple 5s and 8s. And the 10 gets it done, and Ivan King gets off the schneid, and he has a winning percentage now.
And Ivan hit a home run in this game, too.
The kid can die happy now. That's it. He did it. He won a game, and he hit a bomb. Same game.
Yep. Now he just got to have the game where he has 10-plus strikeouts.
That's it. And Jibbo, he's not out of the race by any means, especially with how competitive y'all's division is. I mean, if he puts a couple wins together, it's not statistically impossible. Let me say that. Jibbo, a proven player.
Might have to win like every single game the rest of the season to have a shot. At most, one more loss. Because 8-6 has made the playoffs before, so it is possible.
Yeah, we'll see. I hope that the shenanigans continue.
Yeah, love the shenanigans, and now definitely cheering for my boy Ivan to go on a run.
Yeah, I think everybody's rooting for him. He's a hard kid to root against.
Yeah, we'll see if this inspires other people to take Ivan in later seasons.
I can assure you it will not inspire me.
Or maybe it will inspire others to take a different undrafted player.
That may be more realistic, yeah. I think it would be cool for all the kids to get a little play. Or even like, I think what might be cool, and this may be side season, is whoever put out the survey, but we could put out a different one, and like the bottom 22 kids or whatever, you're required to take one of them or something, so that everybody has a kid that is on this F tier or D tier list or whatever you want to call it, and that might be cool to get every kid in the mix, so that every kid at least has some statistics and can be put into the history book or the wiki or whatever.
That would be an interesting kind of like rule change.
The round 9 has to be one of those 22.
Or 24, or however many people we have.
Yeah, whatever it is.
That would be really interesting.
I mean, because then you got people like whoever, not Garbanzos, but somebody's going like first pick in that round because they're more valuable than the other 23 or whatever, which is just funny to even consider. Like you are the sharpest tool in the worst toolbox. I mean,
there are some gems in there that have like 1 or 2 like really good stats.
It could happen.
I'm looking for a certain somebody to take Walter Hall next season.
There you go.
So
that's you.
You know who you are, and if you're listening to this, that person, I'm expecting Walter Hall to get drafted next season.
Okay, you heard it here first. Walter Hall's going.
The last game was Lil Waz and the Red Sox, putting up a plus 21, a really, really great offensive output. Sadly, it had to come against Team Fish. I was just on the struggle bus that week with a -2 in this matchup as well. Lilwa is doing really, really good so far. Is that, really solid win?
Lilwa's has put up some good numbers. I mean, even in losses, an 8, a 9. And then these wins, you got to win week 1 against Shrews with a 3, but a plus 21, a plus 12. I mean, those are good numbers. And so all that does is add some competition in that backyard west. And Personizzle's sitting there at the top of it, but Personizzle's not, those numbers aren't crazy that he's putting up. He's put up a 20, but some of those have been, good lucky wins that he's scraped by on. And so really curious to see how that division plays out with Mello being in it and then just everybody else being right there stuck in the middle.
Yeah, a lot of exciting matchups in the second half. And Ivan King, Ace Wilson watch.
Yes, Ivan King, Ace Wilson watch. He's not throwing perfectos, but he'll be, I'm sure he'll receive a vote at least.
Oh, I'm already on record saying I'm voting for him.
There you go.
I don't care what the stats are. I'm voting. He's getting a vote.
Start the train.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, but that's all the games for week 6 for both of the leagues. Is there anything else that you want to bring up as far as like the standings or any matchups for week 7 that are not already finalized?
No, I kind of talked about the division records as we went, and so it's no guests today, just you and I, and I'm excited for week 7 to wrap up. We've got some closure for the All-Star break, and everybody don't feel obligated to participate just if you want to, and we'll have fun, and if not, just enjoy the break and let your kids get a good rest.
Yeah, some of those kids definitely could use a rest.
For sure. Visery's kids, Visery's Royals kids.
Yeah, those trips around the base pads tire them out.
Exactly. They slept good with the win, though. Maybe the Pirates, for sure.
Yeah, that is for sure. But I think as far as that, I believe we're still trying to work out the details for match of the week. Probably will be after that when this is posted, but I believe we are trying to get Giants and Astros in 01, and possibly that might be a simul stream version. Fingers crossed.
So I thought that was going to be match of the week, so I didn't mention it. But yeah, that is a really, really good matchup. 2 teams that have been putting up great scores, and would be excited to see that, whether it's traditional match of the week or simul stream.
And then also, just around the corner is the AI League that Slim has been going on, and that the first week of that should be coming up within the next couple days.
Go Monsters. Go Mighty Monsters. Or Humongous Monsters. Go Monsters.
Are you the Monsters, I'm guessing?
I am the Monsters.
I don't even know who's all who. I just think it's kind of neat. It all comes together.
I'm excited. I'm gonna put my lineup together tonight.
Yeah, so I think that's gonna do it. I got some good guests coming up on for next week as far as kind of like the first half recap, and then also in the near future there are some announcements about the online league in the community and the fan favorite Jibbo Open. So look forward to that episode as well.
See ya!